Kansas in the Bill Self era, getting it done with a little more defense. Kansas, Texas Tech, Dave and Reed with the call. See you at half.
It's the Saturday Showcase on the U, presented by 5 Hour Energy. 5 more games on the U today, and the next 3 from the Big 12. We started historic Allen Fieldhouse in Loris with a 12th-ranked Kansas Jayhawks hosting the Red Raiders of Texas Tech. Hi again, everyone. I'm Dave Armstrong, along with Reed Geddes. And Reed, Texas Tech comes in here. They've had no success whatsoever in this building, but they come in with a new lineup. Tubby Smith has retooled things, and he's starting with 5 freshmen.
You know, he brought in 7 new players, 5 freshmen, and 3 of those freshmen are going to start. And you look at the numbers. The numbers aren't spectacular, but they are solid, but they are freshmen. It's tough to win in the Big 12 with 3 freshmen in your starting lineup, but especially at Allen Fieldhouse.
Let's check out who will join that threesome in the starting 5 for the Red Raiders. And guess what? Another newcomer, and Devontae Williams. He's a junior college transfer, along with Robert Turner, the only holdover from a year ago. As far as the Jayhawks are concerned, let's look at the starting lineup for the 12-2 Kansas Jayhawks. Mason and Selden in the backcourt, Oubre, Jamari Traylor, and Perry Ellis. And Reed, what's going on with Perry Ellis this year? He's sort of like a reluctant superstar.
Well, in practice yesterday, Bill Self was trying to encourage him to not be so reluctant. He really wants him to assert himself and go ahead. Don't defer, but come in with a mentality that you're going to dominate this game. You look at his scoring, and it's 15 and 4 and 16 and 2, and that's what he's got to get out of. He's got to get out of that routine if Kansas is going to be as good as they can potentially be.
Well, you look at Perry Ellis, he had just 4 points in his last game, so he has the potential to be not only the leader of the Jayhawks, but one of the best players in the country.
But it's a mentality. It's not a skill set. It's not that he's being put in the right position or not. It is a mentality. And Perry Ellis, he needs to start this game with the idea, I am going to dominate it down on the offensive end.
The head coach of the Jayhawks, Bill Self, and you love this stat, I'll repeat it. He has won more conference titles than he has lost home games. 10 straight Big 12 regular season titles, only 9 losses here at Allen Fieldhouse. He is a future Hall of Famer.
You know, you hear that, and you almost need to take a minute, think about it, and then say it again. More conference championships than home losses. That is the most, of all the remarkable statistics from an incredible resume, that one just continues to blow me away.
He coached at Tulsa once upon a time, so did Tubby Smith. And now in his 2nd year with the Red Raiders. And the other thing that these 2 guys have in common, both of them have more than 500 career wins.
Yeah, we have got some royalty as far as coaches on the sideline. Tubby Smith, it's interesting, we talked to him last night at practice, and with all of these freshmen, you know, we asked him and said, what are you going to get from them? He goes, I don't know. He said, I may look over there in timeout. They may be looking up in the stands and may have bug eyes. And he said, I'll grab them and shake them and say, come on, fellas, we're playing basketball.
So Texas Tech, you see in their road red uniforms, the Jayhawks in their home white. One more thing that Tubby Smith and Bill Self have in common, they each have a national title. Oh yeah, there's that. So here is Mason. He's going to get some help today. Devontae Graham, who has missed the last 6 games, expected to play some today. And a 5-second call. Mason just lost where he was on the court, and Robert Turner tied him up for 5.
But credit Odiase and Zach Smith. They were running a cross screen down low, and those big guys switched those screens perfectly, and Kansas standing out there waiting for those guys to pop up to start the offense.
If you're Coach Self, though, one of your concerns is, are they focused? Are they ready to go against a Texas Tech team that they have dominated through the years? Mason says, all right, I messed up the first time, I'll grab the rebound here.
A great matchup inside. Zach Smith, the shot blocker, defending Perry Ellis to start the game.
And that's a charge on Selden.
Look, if you're watching the Red Raiders against Kansas and you're thinking, boy, they're 0-14, average margin of loss is 29 points, this isn't going to be a game. You've not watched the Red Raiders. It may get away from them, but this team has the ability to come in here and compete this afternoon.
They competed last week when I saw them earlier in the week against West Virginia when they lost 78-67. And the Mountaineers are off to a 2-0 start.
On the Saturday before against Texas, took them right down to the wire.
Inside Turner, covered up. Three-pointer off target for Gocher, and a foul on the rebound. This foul is called on Zach Smith, his first.
A worst-case scenario for Tubby Smith would be for Zach Smith to get in foul trouble. This team is radically different without Zach Smith on the floor. He affects over 10 shots a game, whether he blocks them, whether he intimidates them, whether he prevents them from even being taken. He is a defensive presence.
Well, he's defending Perry Ellis right now. Traylor goes in hard, has it swiped away by Odiase.
Interesting, Texas Tech has started this game with a couple of perimeter shots. Kansas tried to slam that ball inside. Texas Tech very good defensively, points in the paint. Only Texas allows fewer points in the paint than the Red Raiders.
There's Ellis, and Gocher reaches in. So Perry Ellis with a couple of touches so far in this game, and this is a design play.
A great screen from Jamari Traylor. They run a double stack down there, and as the cutter comes off, Traylor steps into the center into Odiase, and that's a very good execution.
Ellis has really been struggling with his shot, and he's a 71% free throw shooter this year. Just something to get this guy kick-started. He scored just 4 points against the Baylor Bears.
Well, glass half full, he also had a career-high 3 block shots, so defensively he was active, but he's got to score more than 4 points a game for Kansas.
Right. Despite his ups and downs, Ellis still the leading scorer for KU. Not by much, but he is. Turner, oh, that's a wild shot. Oubre in transition. Traylor trying to keep it alive, and he does. Enough for the Red Raiders to poke it out.
Really good rebounding effort that time by Jamari Traylor. He's the only Jayhawk down there. Did not get stuck on the back, the big back of Odiase. Nice job, another possession for the Jayhawks.
Traylor just gets in there because of his energy, if nothing else. And a designed inbound play. No one does it better than KU. Mason with the alley-oop, and Oubre with a flush. Turner.
Really nice job, Robert Turner, of realizing when he got trapped, he did a little retreat dribble, and excellent ball movement by the Red Raiders.
Looking inside again. Selden drives in. Oh, soft touch.
Texas Tech playing a little faster than I anticipated. Last night, Tubby Smith said, we've got to cut this game in half. We can't take shots early in the shot clock, and it's going to be a challenge because this year they've been at their best in transition.
Bounce pass, a little bit too hard to handle. Scramble for the ball. Ellis has got it. And he was on the end line when he was touching the ball.
Baseline out of bounds play. Watch the screen inside. Perry Ellis comes out, sets a screen. Traylor sets another good screen, and look at the waters just part. A terrific execution on the baseline out of bounds.
How do you defend that?
You know, Kansas year in and year out is as good as anybody in America in scoring on baseline out of bounds plays.
Gocher. Ellis fighting for it. Goes out of bounds right by Coach Self, and it'll belong to the Jayhawks.
That's my way of saying that neither I nor a lot of people who play the Jayhawks have any idea.
Well, I mean, when you look at that play, Reed, it's just amazing. You see the 2 screens. I don't know how you get enough help to get there in time to stop an alley-oop like that.
You've got to scout it. You've got to be strong, and you can't get stuck on that screen.
Right.
You've got to see it coming beforehand. Afterwards, it's too late.
That's the way. You've got to blow up that screen. Right. Selden for 3. And Traylor got inside. And that's a foul on Jamari Traylor.
His first personal foul, second team foul.
Well, you look at Coach Smith here and his team, as we pointed out, they are 0-14 at Allen Fieldhouse. They have just 2 wins against KU all time, none since they've joined the Big 12.
The last win was in Lubbock. Alan Voskuhl hit 8 3-pointers in that game.
Turner gets knocked down, nothing called. Ball gets tipped out of bounds. It'll stay with the Jayhawks.
Terrific rotation back by Devontae Williams. The point guard, Robert Turner, was out of control, was underneath the basket. Williams was way down here on the right wing and sped back and able to deflect that pass.
As you mentioned, the last win for the Red Raiders a long time ago. In fact, KU has won 10 straight in this series. Mason drives in. Trailer. He's fouled, counted and one, and the foul on Odiase. So the Jayhawks off to a good start, leading by 5. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by 5-Hour Energy Shots. Well, Bill Self has to be happy with his team off to a 60% shooting start, although they've missed both of their three-pointers. Big-time battle coming up in the Big 12 next Wednesday. Fred Hoiberg's Iowa State Cyclones square off against double-double man Rico Gathers and the Baylor Bears. 17th-ranked Iowa State tangles with 21st-ranked Baylor Wednesday at 9 here on ESPNU, the home court of college hoops. And so many teams in the Big 12 are ranked 6th. Last count, 9 of the 10 teams have been ranked at some point this year.
7 at one time. Just remarkable that it's a conference that 90% of the members have been ranked at one point in this season.
Well, the RPI is #1 for the Big 12 conference, and top to bottom, there are just no weak sisters in this conference. No easy games. Kansas right now, though, with a 5-point lead. Texas Tech, they've struggled so far shooting the ball, as the Red Raiders in this contest just 17%. They're just 1 of 6. So here's Trailer at the line, well short.
Gocher and Oubre, that's a nice matchup down here on the other end.
Oubre, with those long arms of his, just reached out and poked that one out of bounds.
Like freakishly long.
Yeah.
Not just long. I mean, like he spreads out and you see him on the ball. Reminds you of that steal that he made against Baylor to win the game in Waco the other day. And he is just so long.
Legal screen inside. That's on Odiase. That's his second. We might be seeing another freshman real soon. Isaiah Manderson is going to check in.
Well, in the last 2 games, Isaiah Manderson's been outstanding. 11 points, 5 rebounds. That is very solid for a guy that for the season only averages 5 and 3.
Ellis. Is that the one that gets him going? Looked smooth, didn't it?
Yeah, he did. Stepped into that shot, caught it in rhythm. Selden really pushing out on Devontae Williams.
Smith, no. Oubre with a rebound.
Perry Ellis is down there like he wants the ball, but he doesn't really on that last possession. Frank Mason looked at him, and Perry was just kind of half-heartedly calling for it.
That's a 2 for Selden. And he doesn't normally, when in the past you would see a Perry Ellis plant both feet in the paint to post up, and now he's way outside.
And demand it. You stick a hand up. If you don't want the ball, you're not going to get it.
So if you're passive, guards see that body language. Good drive by Williams, but he can't make it pay off, and here comes Oubre. He misses the jam. Bothered enough by Gocher.
Last 3 possessions, Texas Tech have gotten a good look at the basket. They've not made them in the first 4 or 5 possessions. They did not even get good looks.
Manderson has it poked away. Trailer, good little step to the side. Ellis keeping it alive. No, Turner's got it. 8 straight points by the Jayhawks. And a whistle and a foul on Oubre.
His first personal foul, 13th foul on Kansas. Checking in the Jayhawk lineup.
Kelly Oubre took him a while to crack that starting 5, but Boy, since he got into the starting five, he has averaged 13 points, 8 rebounds.
And 2 double-doubles in the last 5 games, and whatever it was that Bill Self needed to click inside of Kelly Oubre has certainly clicked. He has been everything that we thought he was going to be from his freshman year. But you're right, boy, it started out really slow.
You see his season numbers, what he's doing over his last 5, almost double that. Here's a kid we both like, Keenan Evans. Now into the lineup for the Red Raiders. Kind of like all these freshmen. Onwuasor, hold it back from last year. And there's a three-pointer much needed by Zach Smith after the Red Raiders had gone 0 for their last 4 and almost 4 minutes of play without a point.
And Randy Onwuasor did such a nice job recognizing the blitz off the on-the-ball screen. A double team just stepped back, created separation.
Alexander blocked by Manderson. Evans, nice floater, won't go though. Poked out, and it was poked out by Oubre.
About 10 days ago, Bill Self realized that they weren't being as aggressive defensively. On the ball screen, watch them blitz the on the ball screen. Perry Ellis will come out and double team it. Onwuasor reads it perfectly. You see the retreat dribble? So he drags the double team further and farther up the court, opening it up for Zach Smith. And very nice recognition by Randy Onwuasor.
It's become a popular term, blitz. What do you mean by that?
Blitz, it's a double team, and so you're defending the guy setting the screen as the guy with the ball comes off of it. You jump out and you blitz him, you double team him, and you try to surprise him and trap him, and then he's stuck.
It's a term we're used to in football, but it's becoming more popular in this sport.
And it's interesting because Bill Self said that, you know, we've gotten away from being aggressive and forcing things. And about 10 days ago, he made a commitment to be more aggressive on the ball screen. Look at it again, the blitz, and they did not do any of it in the Baylor game that I saw, but here it's perfect. And so instead of allowing Onwuasor to turn the corner, they backed him out all the way. Now, the flip side of that is the guys on the backside have got to rotate. You can't allow someone to pick and pop out there all by himself.
The applause you heard in the background was not for Reed's comments, although they were brilliant. They were for Devontae Graham, and they'll get some more applause for this.
Oh, my. Talk about finishing strong through contact. My goodness, Jamari Traylor.
Well, he went right through Justin Jameson.
Yeah, and Justin Jameson is 6'10" and a big, thick body.
Not thick enough. Traylor completes the three-point play. But Devontae Graham is back in there. He has missed the last 6 games. And there you see him right there at number 4. And there's a blitz. And a tie-up. Graham.
Well, we've seen Texas Tech, when they get double teamed, do a good job of doing a retreat dribble or a back dribble. This time, there is no back dribble, and you see right there, he just dribbled right into Keenan Evans. He never pulls the double team back away from himself and got in trouble in a hurry.
Jayhawks methodically pulling away. Tech has won for their last 7. That was that three-pointer. Plus, they have 4 turnovers in the last 4 minutes.
And Manderson working hard inside against Cliff Alexander, and Tech not even looking to him.
Shot clock at 2. Evans draws iron, but Alexander has the rebound. Green, three-point specialist. That one rattles out. He is a 44% three-point shooter. He's a 100% free throw shooter. Good drive, doesn't go. There to pick up the loose change is Justin Jameson.
If there was any question how Kansas would start this game and whether they would come out tough and aggressive, well, Jamari Traylor answers that challenge, and early, it's all Jayhawks.
Matt Chick here in the studio with this update. #1 Kentucky, another SEC game, another challenge after beating Ole Miss at home in overtime here. Tied at 53 in OT, Devin Booker and one. Kentucky up one at A&M. Guy.
Thanks a lot, Matt. Well, who will beat Kentucky? What's your opinion on that?
Objection assumes facts, not evidence. We need to.
All right, counselor.
Who will beat assumes somebody's going to beat them.
I would have said 2 weeks ago no one, but now after they struggled against Ole Miss, struggling again today against A&M, someone I think will. History will tell you that no one has gone unbeaten since 1976.
Well, I don't think they'll be the first of the remaining undefeated to win.
All right, who's going to win the Big 12?
I'm not answering that one either. I mean, I think without a doubt that Kansas is the favorite.
You are under oath. You are required to answer these questions.
Until somebody beats Kansas, Kansas is my pick. Are there people that can beat them? Yes, but Kansas matches up really well with Kentucky and Duke and Virginia. You know what? So does Iowa State. So does Texas if they're making shots.
Oklahoma.
Hey, so does Oklahoma, West Virginia. And I'll tell you someone, nobody's talking about Oklahoma State, and that's a good basketball team. Phil Forte and LeBron Nash, inside-outside combination, and Cobbins is back and healthy. And well, I'll tell you what, there are a lot of good teams in the Big 12.
Forte leads the conference in scoring with just over 20 points per game.
Hey, ask me who's going to win the Big 12. I keep hearing Bill Self talk about that this year this team has the smallest margin of error of his previous teams, and I'm going to agree with him just because he knows better than I, but boy, I don't see it. This team is loaded again, and until somebody actually beats them, they're my pick.
Cliff Alexander from the short corner against the zone of the Red Raiders. Onwuasor, there they go again. A bump, though, by Traylor. That's the second foul on Jamari Traylor. Well, Marcus Mariota and the Ducks trying to win their first ever national championship. Against Urban Meyer's Buckeyes, they're eager to cap off a dream season with their third-string quarterback. What an amazing run by the Buckeyes. The national championship presented by AT&T. Oregon and Ohio State Monday at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN. Must-see TV Monday.
No doubt about that. I know where I'll be. Be on a sofa with the fire going and watching some football.
That's right.
Ooh, that was real close to over and back.
Turner with a floater. Green with a rebound. Graham, the alley-oop. Wow! And at the other end, Alexander with a foul.
Well, it's not that the defense wasn't there. It's just the defense needed about another 6 inches of lift, and a terrific pass from Graham. And man, what a finish. Cliff Alexander getting out, running the floor, beating everybody else down to the basket.
You know, that's a play that takes good timing. And here Devontae Graham has been out since the 10th of December. His foot was in a boot for 3 weeks. He's only been practicing for the last three or 4 days. And here he is with a nice assist to Cliff Alexander.
I'll tell you what else it takes. It takes toughness. And you don't think about toughness in that situation. Cliff Alexander, it takes toughness for a big guy to beat everybody else down the floor. That is effort. That is running hard and a good, tough basketball play by Cliff Alexander.
Well, you, of course, played on that Phi Slama Jama team. You know all about rewarding those big guys when they run the court.
Everybody says they want to run. It's hard. It takes a lot of work.
Selden. Another one. Alexander having a coming out party, and Selden with a great pass.
The Red Raiders need a good possession and a clean look at the basket in the worst kind of way.
1 for their last 10, the Red Raiders. Shooting just 14%. Poked away. Here comes Selden. Onwuasor got there to make sure he didn't dunk it. but Selden will go to the line.
The last 2 trips for the Jayhawks have had similar endings. This time, look to the right of your screen. Look how hard big Cliff Alexander is running the floor, sticking his hands up, calling for it. And then what's beautiful about this play was Wayne Selden, that he got penetration. He jumped off 1 foot. I thought he was going to float and charge, but he kind of did a 1-foot jump stop, went straight up, straight down, and just tossed it up towards the rim.
Alexander, a guy, Reed, he's suffered some back spasms last week. Doesn't look like a guy that's suffering from back problems.
You know, his numbers aren't spectacular. He's averaging 8 points and 5 rebounds. You see what he's done today, but this is a young man who's been really good against the best competition that Kansas has played. He had a double-double against Florida, had a 4 block shots against Michigan State, and so he's been good as the competition has been good.
Evans, reach-in foul on Devontae Graham. That's the first foul on Graham. That's the 7th team foul on the Jayhawks, and that'll put Texas Tech at the line. So here's Keenan Evans.
Texas Tech's best free throw shooter percentage-wise.
He'll get the bonus. Evans, his dad was a high jumper at University of Arkansas. In fact, competed in the Olympics. He's a kid that all of a sudden the light has gone on. Yeah. Playing much, much better. Graham and Mason playing in the lineup at the same time. Three-pointer, Mason. You know, Mason's numbers this year are eye-popping. He's shooting almost 50% from three-point land.
Yeah, that is remarkable. Shooting the same percentage from 2 as he is from 3.
Ellis got him for a foul. Reach in. Thought he poked it away cleanly, but Perry Ellis with the foul. That's his first. And that will put Justin Jamison on the line. He hasn't been on the line much this year. Just 4 of 6 for the season. Long rebound comes out to Graham, and Jamison just reached up over his back. That's the first foul on Jamison.
Jamison's an interesting story. He was drafted in the Rangers organization, a 6'10 pitcher. Think Randy Johnson, and had a torn labrum and ended his baseball career. And here he is playing college basketball.
How about that? So Jamison will come out. Manderson will take his place. I'm trying to think of Randy Johnson in a basketball uniform right now.
I just picture him in that Hall of Fame hat that he was putting on this week.
How about that? Tech looking for a field goal. They haven't had one since the 13:35 mark. So more than 5 minutes without a field goal. What are your impressions of KU's defense so far today?
Well, Wayne Selden has been outstanding on Devontae Williams, the leading scorer for Texas Tech. He has not even seen a clean look at the basket.
Ellis. Alexander. Selden, little drop back. Ellis again keeps it alive. Bounce pass back to Ellis. He's bumped off the ball. No foul called. Mason pokes it away.
Good.
Saved it. A block by Alexander, but a whistle and a foul. That's his second of the first half.
Now, we started the game wondering if Perry Ellis was going to come out with a mentality that he's going to dominate, and Cliff Alexander has answered that call for the Jayhawks. He has been dominant on both ends of the floor. Big fella getting it done.
Coach Mike Krzyzewski.
Thanks a lot for all the support.
Just 3 wins away from the magical 1,000 in his historic career. Mike Krzyzewski, Coach K, and coming up next Saturday, they take on Louisville, who right now meeting North Carolina and beating the Tar Heels by 8, but you look at Duke, one of the 3 unbeaten teams remaining, and one other is in trouble right now. You noticed in overtime, Texas A&M with a slight lead over the Kentucky Wildcats right now.
Well, Duke, if they don't want to fall also, they better not look past that Miami team. Jim Larenega's got a nice squad led by 2 Big 12 transferees, Angel Rodriguez at the point, Sheldon McClellan from Texas, and they are capable of beating them.
Sviatoslav Mikhailuk has checked in for KU, playing in front of his parents for the first time. Mickelson with the rebound, can't get the follow. Mikhailuk. Hello, Mom and Dad.
Boy, he hit that shot and snapped his head over to his parents and looked right at them.
Yeah, there they are.
That's pretty cool.
Inna and Lurie. Inna is his mom. She is a biology teacher in high school. Lurie, his dad, is a history professor in college, and they are here watching their son play for the Kansas Jayhawks for the very first time.
From the Ukraine, that's pretty special. He didn't hesitate. He caught that ball. He was locked and loaded. Kid's going to be really, really good.
I loved his reaction too. You're right. He looked right over at him.
He snapped his head over there, and I thought, wait, he's looking at the opposing bench. I thought, no. He's looking at Mom and Dad.
Jayhawks now with a 17-point advantage, their largest lead of the game. Look at those numbers for Frank Mason.
Well, you know, I came into the game thinking that I was going to say he's the most consistent Jayhawk. I think I've changed it to he's the most valuable so far.
Yeah.
Frank Mason has been simply outstanding for Bill Self, and a little surprising, maybe not tremendously surprising, but man, has he been good.
Especially with Graham out with that injury.
Well, his consistency has just been ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, 10, 11, 12 points every single game.
Boy, are the Jayhawks' hands active today. Mason blocked off the glass by Evans.
Looking like his dad high jumping in the Olympics.
Another block inside, but a whistle and a foul. And this one is on Hunter Mickelson, I believe.
Terrific.
No, it's on Ellis.
A terrific defensive play by Keenan Evans. Boy, he was trailing that play, came from a long way to come over the top and block that layup.
Foul on Ellis is his second.
At the line shooting 2, Zach Smith.
Zach Smith goes to the line. He's 2 of 2 from the line today.
Jamari Traylor return to Kansas, replacing Jeremy Allen. Looking in for Texas Tech, Aaron Ross.
Zach Smith, one of those freshmen that Billy Tubbs will build around. He's the type of kid that could be around for 4 years, and by the time he's a junior and senior, we're not going to have enough adjectives to talk about how good and how good of a player he has been in Lubbock.
Yeah, Tubby Smith just loves the action of Zach Smith. No relation. Zach, by the way, Zach's dad, how about this? He played at UALR, Zach's dad. And they called him the Pizza Man. Why? Because they had a promotion when he played at UALR that if you got a slam dunk, they delivered a couple of pizzas to the student section. Well, no one dunked more than Zach's dad. So they called him the Pizza Man because he always delivered.
That was the Arkansas Little Rock team that made it to the Sweet 16, and the Pizza Man led them. I said Billy Tubbs, obviously meant Tubby Smith. That was my bad.
Thrown away. Here comes Oubre. Forced the action. Ooh, would have counted had it gone too. That's where he's at his best, is just kind of knifing his way through traffic, and then just those long arms of his able to go up and shoot shots in traffic.
You know, statistically, even though he struggled early in the non-conference, statistically he's been really solid. 44% from the three-point line for a slasher, and so his numbers have been good. He just needed for it to click on the defensive end.
One of 4 McDonald's All-Americans on this Kansas roster. Oubre hits both free throws. Lammert will check back in for the Red Raiders. Some full court pressure, and they'll back off a little bit. Interesting, Williams bringing it up against pressure.
Texas Tech's leading scorer, Devontae Williams, still looking for his first point in this game.
Man, Oubre just pokes everything away.
Now, effort and energy by Kelly Oubre. Not only does he poke this ball loose, but watch him hustle Savage. You see Keenan Evans just being a little lackadaisical going after that loose ball, and Kelly Oubre anything but lackadaisical.
Texas Tech is getting tired of all this pressure. They just faced West Virginia. The Mountaineers applied 40 minutes of pressure.
Texas Tech running a flex offense, back screen, down screen, and not getting many good looks at the basket out of it.
Aaron Ross with that dribble caused the play to kind of break down. Ross could have gone straight up.
If you're going to run a flex where you set a back screen for a guy cutting along the baseline on the weak side and then a down screen, it only works if you're really making contact in your screens. If you're just running cuts, you're not going to get anything out of it. You got to commit yourself to making contacts. Every time you pop your feet, make sure you hit somebody.
You know, root for everybody that plays this game, but you look at a kid like Aaron Ross who comes in here. And right there, he goes up. Instead, he dribbled into traffic. But he does go to the line. But Ross is a guy who injured his right knee not once, but twice. Same knee.
Yeah, and has a nice skill set. We saw him last year, you know, before the injury or in between injuries, and boy, he can be a contributor. You know, the point we were making about not making contact, you saw when Ross caught the ball, there were two screens and nobody really screened anybody, and you know, the offense is never going to work, especially against a team that can defend like Kansas if you don't make contact.
Trailer hits from the short corner, and the beat goes on for KU. The lead is now 19. Reed, Texas Tech has not had a field goal since the 13:35 mark of this half. Until now.
Oh, this is Justin Jamison, 6'10", out there at the standing on the three-point line.
Oubre. Oubre now with 7. That's what they've done in this first half. Make it 10 turnovers. And Oubre. Timeout. Tubby Smith.
Kansas came into this game 9th in scoring defense, 8th in field goal percentage defense, and those statistics are misleading. And I think that is a reflection of who they have been playing, because right now Kelly Oubre and the rest of his teammates are absolutely dominating this basketball game, and they're doing it on the defensive end.
Well, when they look up that scoreboard, what they see is a dominant performance, you're right, defensively. They have held Tech to just 3 of 16 from the field. That's 19%. And yet this season, KU's defense has not been like the seasons of old.
Well, you look at those numbers, 9th, 8th in the Big 12 and the 10 teams in the Big 12, and you think that's not very characteristic of a Kansas team. This is the first week in the season. We're going to keep this, and we're going to pop that back up after about the middle of February and see where those rankings have gone.
Well, KU has played the toughest non-conference schedule in the nation, and certainly in the Big 12, so that's factored in as well. You look at how they held Baylor to just 55 points. And here they've held Texas Tech to just 17 in the first half, and 9 of those 17 points have come from the free throw line. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66. Proud to be here.
I want to pump you up.
No. We want to pump you up like that.
It.
You put the emphasis on the wrong syllable.
I want to pump you up.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it. That was terrible.
This is not a joke. Let's try it again.
I want to pump you up.
It's like we're talking to a wall.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of sick game you
Knock,
play.
knock, hello.
I want to pump you up.
I can't do this anymore.
Training is hard. Saving is easy. Get a discount double check today.
Let's take these piggies out for new carpet. No, not those. These. Let's get in touch with texture. Something with a twist. Let's look at loops and get a feel for patterns in all sorts of colors. But let's not break the bank. Then, let's get it rolled out right. The perfect carpet? Yeah. Let's bring it all the way home. Let's do this. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Get free carpet installation for a limited time. Schedule a measure today.
Matt Dino Gaudio coming at you in just a few minutes at halftime in Lawrence. All KU all the time here.
Hey, tough for Tubby Smith and Texas Tech to go on the road with 3 freshman starters.
Just 2 made field goals for Texas Tech. They are in a big hole. Kentucky in overtime, number 2 in College Station. Can the number 1 team hold on? We'll show you.
All right, thanks a lot, Matt. Boy, interesting stuff going on in College Station. And could life get any better for this young lady? She's got the Dippin' Dots. She's watching her Jayhawk team dominate the first half against Texas Tech.
Look at the seat she's got. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to be pessimistic, honey, but it just doesn't. It's downhill after this. Not sure
she's
going to get
She's peaked early in life.
She's got her new Christmas jacket on. Look where she's sitting. Crying out loud.
She's probably thinking, I could be a little closer to midcourt.
Yeah. Now, Matt and Dino made a great point talking about just 3 made field goals for Texas Tech in the first half. 10 turnovers and only 3 made field goals.
They work it inside. Turner now has 2 of their 4 made field goals.
So that was off of that back screen along the baseline cut. First time I've seen somebody really make contact and put their body on somebody.
Boy, Lucas, he got inside position on Jamison, and there wasn't much for Justin Jamison to do after that.
That last Texas Tech bucket, watch the back screen on this baseline cut coming from your left of your screen. Well, no, he did not make contact. I thought he hit the guy. Frank Mason just lost him, went over the top, and a nice pass inside. You know, it's interesting. Justin Jamison's done a nice job in this game. He's come in, he's hit a shot, he's been aggressive. Pretty good defense that time, got called for a foul, but nice energy off the bench by Justin Jamison for Tubby Smith's Red Raiders.
Found the right Jayhawk. Lucas just 4 of 12 from the line this year. Doesn't look like a 5 of 13 free throw shooter, but that's what the numbers say.
How about the job Kansas has done on Devontae Williams? I mean, he's not only has he not scored, he hadn't gotten close to scoring. They have just locked him up.
0 for 3 for the game.
At 21 for the 3rd time against West Virginia on Monday. It's a kid that can score a lot of different ways.
Jamison, he comes out, first 3 he's hit in his career.
He looks really good.
He was a teammate of Williams at Missouri State West Plains. Another 3 for Frank Mason, or did they call it a 2? No, it's a 3.
Standing right now for the Red Raiders. They're throwing the ball. Whoever has the ball, the other 4 guys are just kind of looking at them and no movement at all.
Mason and Lucas got tangled up, lose the rebound. It'll go back to Tech. You know, Tubby Smith knew that this was going to be a tall order today. Again, the Red Raiders, and all this isn't on him. This is only his 2nd year there. But they have gone 0 for 14 in Allen Fieldhouse and lost by an average margin of 29 points. They're on their way to one of those types of losses here today.
And I don't mean this as cynical as it's going to sound, but it's not just the freshmen. I mean, nobody's playing well. Other than Jamison, really, nobody for the Red Raiders is making much of an impact in this game in the first half.
Well, they let Jamison see if he can stay hot from top of the key. Here comes Graham pushing the ball. Selden with the alley-oop, and that one was swatted away. Good play defensively by Smith. Now Turner, and that's blocked by Lucas.
A terrific defense by Lucas.
Brandon Green tries a three, no. Williams, nice ball fake, can't get it to go though. And Lucas had not established himself inbounds before he touched the ball.
Landon Lucas, such a nice job in transition with Robert Turner coming at him full speed. Realized that he was left-handed. He wanted to go left, played belly-up defense, slid over, and pretty nice job by the big fella in transition.
Three-pointer off, no good. Mickelson can't corral it. Smith in traffic. Selden loses it, gets it back. Mickelson, oh, that's a charge. That's an obvious call there.
Well, and that's not necessarily Mickelson's fault. That's really Graham giving him the ball on a spot on the floor where there's not anything he can do with it. And you want to let Mickelson get down there and get set, or certainly not throw it to him in this traffic. But look, there's nothing Mickelson's going to do positive in that situation.
Smith, and that's a foul on Lucas. Well, you look at how the Jayhawks, they decided to go inside today. The points in the paint, decided edge for KU.
And for the season, only Texas gives up fewer points in the paint than Texas Tech. Averages just 20 points per game, and Kansas well on their way to exceeding that average.
So Kansas uses the timeout you lose if you don't use it in the first half. Team with a commanding lead, a 20-point advantage, and good news all around for KU as they get Devontae Graham back in the lineup here today.
You know, this is one of those situations in the game right now. You're up by 20 at half, you know, going into halftime, and the fans are kind of relaxed. Everyone's kind of rolling their eyes, and for Bill Self, as the lead gets bigger, he's going to get more and more agitated. You know, he's got to keep the focus. He's got to keep the discipline, and this is a teaching moment for him. He's got a young basketball team, and he's got Graham back in the lineup, and so they need to keep their foot on the throttle.
By the way, the Jayhawks winning at Baylor, so you can see he's not real
Does
happy.
that look like a coach up by 20 going into halftime?
No, he's still shaking his head like we're still doing some knucklehead things out here. But you look at Kansas winning at Baylor. The Jayhawks have now won their conference opener in 24 straight years.
That's crazy. I mean, you're talking about a quarter century.
Yeah, and 14 of those have been on the road.
Look, there are a lot of teams in the Big 12 that can beat Kansas this year.
Yes.
Until they do.
Lucas misses a bunny. And then a whistle and a foul. And that's on Lucas.
Well, nice hustle by Clark Lambert, the graduate student for Texas Tech. He's come in and he's limited athletically, but boy, he'll give you everything he's got. He's playing hard and pushing and shoving and grabbing and diving and doing just about everything he can to give a jolt of energy to his teammates.
His brother plays at Texas and he's having a good year.
Yeah, sure is. Doing a great job. Connor Lambert rebounding the ball and maybe the best assist man for the Texas Longhorns starting this season.
Score earlier this week with Oklahoma beating Texas in Austin. That was a shocker.
Beating would be the wrong adjective. Destroying, demolishing.
Big shot.
Yeah, that was a beatdown.
Texas today at Oklahoma State. That's coming up next here on ESPNU. Selden able to save it.
Kansas not responding well to this pressure.
Selden steps back for a three. No. Lucas gets caught with a push-off. Not productive minutes for Lucas.
Well, Bill Self is furious over that possession. They didn't respond well. Had three guys standing out there. Two guys buried down low, not coming up and helping the guards at all. And It was the worst possession of the half, and you know, it's almost like a gift to Bill. That'll be something that he can go in at halftime and really lay into him about that.
Well, he just yelled at, I'm not sure which player, but he yelled at one of the players out on the court to wake up. What a count it had gone, and it was close. Yeah, Kansas goes off into their locker room. Last few minutes a little sloppy, but still a huge advantage as they lead at 42-25. We'll send you to break. On the other side of the break, Matt and Mr. Gaudio will join you in the studio.
In the Big 12 Conference, when we say one true champion, we mean it. To determine our champion, we play each other twice every year.
With dynamic offenses against stifling defenses.
In front of thousands of passionate fans.
In college basketball's top venues.
Every game matters.
10 teams, 18 games.
One true champion.
Go right back at it again here on a Saturday showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy. Texas Tech hoping it's not the same that they saw in the first half, with Kansas dominating the Red Raiders 42-25 at the break. With Reed Geddes, I'm Dave Armstrong. Reed, that was a beatdown by KU in that first half. They really dominated things, and they got it going with their defense.
You know, offensively, they were balanced. They had 5 guys between 5 and 9 points, but you're exactly right. Defensively, they just absolutely destroyed the Red Raiders, and especially Devontae Williams, the leading scorer. The only player for the Red Raiders who averages double figures did not score.
You look at the numbers from that first half, holding the Red Raiders to just 21% from the field. But how about this? 10 turnovers, and 8 of those because Kansas picked their pocket.
Defensively, they were outstanding, and Texas Tech had 5 made field goals and 10 turnovers. And if they have any chance of getting back in this game at all, Devontae Williams is going to have to get on track here in the second half.
Well, he was 0 for 4. Perry Ellis, meanwhile, he was kind of a no-show as well, just 1 for 3 in that first half.
Well, 5 guys between 5 and 9 points, and none of them were Perry Ellis.
He just looked a little lethargic, didn't he, in that first half? His body language coming out here with a little bit more energy to start things off, setting a few screens.
Well, it's surprising because in practice yesterday, let's say he was the focus of a lot of attention from the coaching staff.
Unwilling to take a shot, point-blank range there.
Good ball movement.
Oubre.
Frank Mason has been so good and so solid. Last 3 games, 5 assists to 1 turnover. He has been simply outstanding. That time an unselfish play, passed up a shot for a better shot.
12 points now for Oubre to lead all scorers. Pass inside, almost picked off. Smith gets it back. Gocher, no. Long rebound, right back to him.
Kelly Oubre took off running for a leak out that time and did not box out Gocher.
Should he have?
Yeah, he should have. We'll let Bill answer that question in film session tomorrow.
Emphatically.
Yes. Good post up.
Selden comes in. Another turnover for the Red Raiders. Mason. There's Ellis with some position. Again, passing out. Three-pointer, no.
Well, Texas Tech starting the second half better defensively, but they need points.
Quick double.
Odiase got double teamed to put that ball in one hand. That's the last thing you want to do when you're double teamed. They're doubling big on big, and if he'll turn and face, he'll have an easy pass over there to Zach Smith.
Here comes Mason. Ellis for three.
Just the 6th three-point field goal of the season for Perry Ellis.
6 for 17 on the year. Poked away. This will be a flush for Oubre. Timeout, Tubby Smith.
Texas Tech doing a better job defensively all the way up to where they stopped playing. And boy, Tubby Smith called a timeout, furious with this leak out by Kelly Oubre. And we'll be back with the Jayhawks doubling up the Red Raiders.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66. Proud to be here.
Warriors Thunder at 8. Cavs Clippers at 10:30. Friday on ESPN.
Saturday Showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy. Big 12 Conference basketball today, one of 3 in a row here on the U, with Kansas dominating Texas Tech 50-25, still 17-16 remaining here in this ball game. Next Saturday, a couple of Hall of Fame coaches collide. Epic battle between top 5 teams. Number 2 Duke takes on number 5 Louisville. Cardinals reeling after a loss at North Carolina today. That's next Saturday at noon on ESPN. Part of the Journey to the Tourney presented by Sonic.
That with the loss at Chapel Hill today. Rick Pitino 0-6 all time against North Carolina. Never beat the Tar Heels.
You still getting used to Louisville in the ACC?
I am not even remotely used to that.
Jamison, he was one of the few bright spots in that first half for Texas Tech.
Well, he set a really nice screen, and Onwuasor turned down the shot. He screened down, pinned him, and Onwuasor stepped out, caught the ball, not going to have a better look than he just had, and then takes one that wasn't a good look.
Lammert got inside position.
Yeah, the point you make, Dave's exactly right. Justin Jamison maybe is the only bright spot for the Red Raiders so far in this game, but he's out there competing and producing, and boy, he put his body on somebody on a down screen, and it doesn't do any good if you don't turn around and take a shot off of it.
Lammert now 1 for 3 from the line today. Shaking his head at that. Missed them both, and Ellis with a good rebound. Ellis takes another 3.
He pulled up like he was going to shoot. I looked over at the bench to see what the coach's reaction was, and they're good poker players because nobody had any reaction at all.
Well, 2 for 2 now from three-point range. Why did you look at the coaches to see what their reaction was?
Well, you know, they want Perry Ellis to be aggressive. I'm not sure it's shooting 25-foot, 30-foot three-point shots in transition, but that's an added weapon. If you can hit that shot consistently, trail plays, and stretch the defense, that is a nice weapon.
Manderson working on Perry Ellis, and Manderson with a nice floater.
Isaiah Manderson has just played 2 years of organized basketball, and you can't teach 6'10", and you can't teach athleticism, and he's got both.
Went to 4 different high schools in 4 years. Selden with another 3.
Wayne Selden for 3.
KU 8 for 15 in the game now from three-point range. Manderson, that's a tough shot. Ellis can't control the rebound, and there's Jamison. Jamison with 10, which is a new career high for him at Tech. And a bump by Manderson.
Perry Ellis coming into the game with just 5 made three-point field goals, but here in the second half, stepping out and knocking down shots in half-court sets and transition. Average margin of victory, 29 points. Jayhawks over Red Raiders, and boy, they're pushing that number again.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Yeah, everybody knows that.
Well, did you know that playing cards with Kenny Rogers gets old pretty fast?
You got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. What? You get it?
I get the gist, yeah.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
And don't miss any of the unfiltered conversation. Our experts break down the hot topics surrounding the national championship game. College Football Daily Championship Experts, Sunday at 7 on ESPNU and, of course, on your Watch ESPN app. With Reed Geddes, I'm Dave Armstrong. Watching Kansas pick apart the Red Raiders today. Perry Ellis has been settling for three-point shots in this game. He's 3 for 5 from the field, but 2 of those field goals made have been from beyond the perimeter.
Well, 14 touches, that's a good number. I would think that Bill Self sees that. He'll think that he's pleased with that. I'm not sure he's ecstatic about knocking down all the threes as opposed to scoring and being aggressive and tough in the paint. But I'll tell you what, the Jayhawks have come out of the locker room absolutely on fire, shooting 83% from the floor and 80% from the three-point line. 4 for 5 in the second half behind the line.
Coach Smith started with 1 starting 5 in the second half. He has switched things, and he has a different 5 guys out there right now. Whistle, and stepping out of bounds is Jamari Traylor.
Look, he didn't get the rebound. Jamari Traylor, what tremendous rebounding effort. He was up here in between the free throw line and the top of the key when that ball was shot and sliced through the middle of the 2-3 zone to catch that ball. Rebounding out of position. Just a lot of standing from the Red Raiders. They look at one pass and then they stand and look at it. Nobody cutting, nobody moving. They throw the ball in and they stand. And now Manderson turned it into points, but I can't imagine that's the execution that Tubby Smith wants.
Well, Manderson goes inside, and Manderson with 2 points now in the game, his first 2. Selden had to change things up. Now throws up a little floater. Ellis trying to keep it alive. On Wasor. Selden with Mason ahead of the pack. Kansas outrunning the Red Raiders. Jamison steps back.
He has been excellent.
Yeah.
You know, if you're just looking for silver lining, anything positive for the Red Raiders, how about the game that Justin Jamison's having?
4 or 5 from the field, Reed, with 12 points.
He's been good, but he's been confident and he's been competitive and he's challenged. And
playing against the zone now.
Frank Mason has been so good. I mean, up fake, he gets penetration, he causes the defense to collapse on him in a simple little pass, and just excellent decision making.
Perry Ellis now with 11. Ellis comes in late, and a foul on Perry Ellis. That'll be his 3rd.
The rebounding effort of Jamari Traylor has been terrific. Look where he is. He's at the free throw line, top of the key, and then look where he gets this ball. I mean, that's just effort, and you rebound that, and then the decision-making when they got the ball the next time by Frank Mason. Watch the setup of the up fake, draws the defense to him. You see 3 red shirts collapse on him, and a simple little kick out for Perry Ellis. Okay, other than Phil Forte, I can't think of a guard in the Big 12 that's playing better right now than Frank Mason.
I mean, just his overall numbers. Mason scoring, passing.
Minutes per game, leading the Big 12.
Well, he's had to do that with the injury to Devontae Graham.
The consistency, you look at his numbers, the last 11 games, he scored 12 points, 11, 10, 12, 14, 10, 14, 20, 14, 18, 11. I mean, that's, you know what you're going to get out of him every time. You add into that, the last 3 games, he's had a 5-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio. And boy, that goes from being solid numbers to being spectacular numbers.
Ellis had it blocked at the last second by Jamison, but he was fouled as well. And to button up what you were saying about Mason today, 10 points, 5 assists.
You know, I say Phil Forte. Phil's leading the conference in scoring. He's first in steals, and I don't know that I'm saying Phil Forte's playing better than Frank Mason, but you got to put Jawan Staten in there, and Isaiah Cousins is in the conversation, and so I'm not excluding others. I'm just bragging on how good Frank Mason is.
Where do you define George Niang of Iowa State? Is he a guard? Is he a forward? Is he post guy? What is he?
He, my friend, is a basketball player, and a very good one.
And Jawan Staten, you know, is one of those guys for West Virginia that obviously is playing at a very, very high level.
Well, Buddy Hield is, but we expected Buddy to play at that level. And Isaiah Cousins has had a really good start to this season.
So now that you think about it, there are quite a few guys that are doing all right.
Yeah, now, if I think before I speak, I can come up with some more names.
Ball goes out of bounds. We've got a whistle and a foul on Tech. With Kansas continuing to pull away from the Red Raiders. Well, let's take a little tour down memory lane for the Kansas Jayhawks and their national championships. Of course, a lot of people remember Manning and the Miracles in 1988, and then 20 years later, Bill Self cuts down the nets in San Antonio as they become the champions in 2008. So you look at 52, led by Clyde Lovellette, and 88, led by Danny Manning, and 2008, they had 5 guys from that team all drafted in the first round of the NBA the following season. And you look at the Final Fours that have also, just suffice it to say, they've been pretty good for a long time. Yeah. And there goes Graham and Alexander on yet another alley-oop.
Bill Self, the fastest Kansas coach to get to 337 wins. You think about all the coaching names that have been here, and that in and of itself is as impressive a statistic of their success.
Manderson gets inside.
I believe Kansas has scored every single time they've screened inside. I think that's about their 4th lob where they've screened X5, whoever's playing defense in the middle of that zone.
Manderson, you know, much more aggressive this half. Here comes Graham. Poked out of bounds by Jamison. Jamison might be earning himself some more playing time with his performance here today.
Tell you what, I don't know what he's been doing in practice, but he's making a strong argument for a starting spot. He has been terrific. Really the only Red Raider that's competed in this game.
One of those tattoos on his arm is from the Cleveland Indians. You talked about him being a talented pitcher. Alexander, nice shot.
Another screen on X5, the center. That's a double stack where they run a baseline cut, and then a high guy on a tandem stack just steps into the center.
Alexander with a block. Trailer almost got in with another steal. 11 steals today by the Jayhawks.
Aaron Ross also checks in for the Red Raiders.
Aaron Ross now checks in, gives Jamison a breather.
The difference in Texas Tech's baseline out of bounds plays, they run something almost just to get the ball in bounds, and I believe Kansas has scored every single time they have run a bob, a baseline out of bounds play.
Graham, little change of speed, puts it up when he felt the contact, so he'll go to the line.
You know, coaches break games down into 3 phases. You've got your offense, your defense, and special teams. And part of your special teams are your sideline out of bounds play. We've seen Kansas score in a lob on a sideline out of bounds play. And Bill Self smiling because they have had tremendous success in the special teams phase of the game here this afternoon.
Yeah, they got a big recruit to come in, signed earlier this week, orally committing to KU, Carlton Bragg, who is on the number 18 list on the ESPN out of Cleveland, Ohio. He picked Kansas over Kentucky and Illinois, and sometimes Bill Self just kind of gets lucky too in recruiting. Look at Devontae Graham and Frank Mason. Graham originally committed to Appalachian State, and then they changed coaches. He reopened his recruiting and then ended up at Kansas. Frank Mason originally signed with Towson, same thing. So he got 2 of his guards as a result of coaching changes after those guys had signed with much smaller schools.
So it begs the question, did everybody just miss on these kids, or is it a case of coaching them up once they get here?
Yeah. Maybe a little of both. Graham, that was blocked. A lot of beef inside with Odiase and Alexander pushing and shoving. Ross, boy, that was a good move.
Yeah, nice left hand. He dipped over that left shoulder just enough to get the defense off balance and then turn back right.
Bad pass that time from Graham. Mikhailuk lucky to get it back. From the short corner, Alexander, 2 more. He's got a dozen. And he is 6 of 7 from the field. Jayhawks are shooting 52% for the game. Texas Tech, 27%. Ooh. Foul here on Alexander.
That's his 3rd personal foul. 13th foul.
You know, we talked about Carlton Bragg, 6'9" power forward from Cleveland. ESPN top 100 rank at number 18. Committed to KU on Thursday of this week.
I didn't see the clip, but didn't the young man misspeak? Didn't he say in his press conference Kentucky and actually meant Kansas? Deke. Like,
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Got the Wildcat Nation all hopeful and
sent hearts racing in both directions.
Yeah, I bet he did.
Well, Odiase working hard, posting up and not getting the ball.
Got it on the offensive glass, and a foul from behind by Alexander, and that's his 4th. So we got a timeout with 7:54 remaining. KU well on their way to a 2-0 start for the 9th straight year in the Big 12. Coach Self still working hard in that huddle. Not necessarily coaching this game, but coaching the future of how they want to play as they move forward, leading this one by a bundle, 69-37. Big time battle in the Big 12 as Iowa State squares off against the Baylor Bears. Number 17 Iowa State tangling with number 21 Baylor Wednesday at 9 on ESPNU, home court of college hoops.
Well, under the theme of how coaches want their players to play going forward, Tubby Smith has got to be pleased with Norrance Odiase and the way he is battling here in the second half. Game well out of reach, and yet Odiase working hard, being physical against the defense of the Kansas Jayhawks, fighting hard, and didn't get the ball when he posted up and fought for the rebound and went back up and drew a foul. And nice energy. Watch him flash across, and boy, he's got Cliff Alexander sealed. But look at him calling for it. I mean, that's a big man who wants the ball and then doesn't give up once he's sealed. And good hard work by Odiase.
So with that hard work, he earns a spot at the line where he's a 57% free throw shooter.
What a disjointed looking release, and got his heels stuck on the ground in a hitch, and he's going to have to extend his body up, come up on those toes if he wants to shoot better than 57.
Missed them both, and Graham's got it. Mikhailuk.
Imagine coming from the Ukraine and being 17 years old and walking into this environment.
He's been on the world stage for the last few years. Green's 3 no good. He's handled it a lot with a lot of poise and playing, as we mentioned, in front of his parents for the very first time here at Kansas. Not the first time in his life, but the first time that his parents, Inna, his mom, and Luri, his dad, have made that trip from Ukraine here to Lawrence, Kansas.
He started 6 games this year, and he's got a bundle of talent. You know, I was a little surprised that, I'm not surprised, but you see a kid like that and you think, well, why didn't he just go ahead and redshirt at 17 years old, physically developed, and he's got a skill set that I'm not sure anyone expects him to be around and use all 4 years.
He's happy to get a little care package from home, too. They brought him some candy back from the Ukraine. You know, Mom, look at it. She's so happy seeing her son play again. Both of them teachers, as we mentioned. The mom, a biology teacher in high school. The dad, a history professor in college. So education very, very important to them. Mikhailuk, a guy that at 17, not eligible to go to the NBA after this year. Perry Ellis with yet another 3. That's his 3rd of the game. He's 3 for 3.
And just 5 made 3-point field goals coming into this game. Perry Ellis shooting very well from behind the arc.
15 points. Green poked that one away. It'll stay with the Red Raiders. So you look at Perry Ellis. He'll check out. They're going 4 for 4 in the second half. 3 of those are 3-pointers. Alexander. I'm not sure that's exactly the shot Coach Self was wanting.
Odiase posted up strong again, and that pass was late. He was down there, had good position. Odiase coming in and competing a little bit. But he flashed. He came down, flashed under the rim, and was fortunate not to get a 3-second call.
Mickelson. Jayhawks are not working the ball in the paint as much right now. Of course, with a huge lead like this, I think this is just a point where Coach Self would like to see the bigs not settle for 17-foot jumpers, though. Odiase.
That was frustration. Odiase is frustrated because he's not getting the ball when and where he's calling for it, and so he's throwing up bad shots.
Second offensive charge by Mickelson.
Odiase flashing in, and look at the body language. He is frustrated. The right before that, he ducked in, and he was standing on that defensive arc down there, had both feet inside the paint, and did not get the ball.
Turner. Good pass. Really good pass by Turner. Green goes right in. Turner. Boy, once Mickelson flashed out, Turner said, okay, thanks. Give me a free lane to the basket.
One of the first signs of life we've seen from Robert Turner in this game. He threw up some wild shots the first 2 or 3 possessions and has been very quiet.
Mikhailuk, no. Mickelson, no. Turner again, being very aggressive inside. Here comes Graham, 3-on-2, 4-on-2. The alley-oop, Mikhailuk. Graham now with 6 assists in this game, and mom and dad very happy. Mikhailuk with 5 points in the game.
Graham's looked good. You know, he's looked like his wind is better than I anticipated it would be.
Here's Jamison again, Alexander. It's his 5th rebound. Green.
Brandon Green can shoot that basketball.
Jayhawks are shooting great today from 3-point range. Reed, they're 10 of 21.
That will win you some basketball games.
And Williams, almost a frustration. All right, I'll put one up. His first 3 points of the game. After scoring 21 against West Virginia earlier this week. So it's Kansas 81, Texas Tech 46, as Bill Self has pointed in the right direction today. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by 5-Hour Energy Shots.
Coming up next, more Big 12 action. Phil Forte, the leading scorer in the Big 12, nearly 18 points a game, as Oklahoma State welcomes in number 10 Texas and Isaiah Taylor. His 3rd game back from an injury, 14 minutes away here on the U. Okay?
Thanks a lot, Matt. Well, it'll be interesting to see how Texas responds after getting beat down by Oklahoma earlier this week.
If Texas is going to be who we think they're going to be, they need to win that game. And let me tell you something. There may be no team more underestimated at this point than Oklahoma State. That is a good basketball team, and that is going to be a great game.
Extended playing time for the walk-ons for Kansas, including the coach's son, Tyler Self. Danny Manning's son also out there, Evan Manning, playing. Along with Christian Garrett, the lone senior on this Jayhawk team, and a guy who's still looking for his first point in a Jayhawk uniform. Onwuasor with 2 from the short corner. Garrett loses the handle.
Garrett needs a basket. Pull him for a basket for senior day. So when they run those highlights up there, they got young man knocking down a shot his senior season.
He'll be the lone guy making that speech on senior day. You'd like to see him be able to talk about how he scored. And I think they're working hard to do that. 2:23 remaining in this game, and they'd like to get Christian Garrett a point.
I understand it's a team sport, it's a team game, but young man, you're in there for one reason.
Score.
We want you to score.
That's right.
You come in locked and loaded. We're not interested in ball movement. We're not interested in unselfish play.
We're going to set screens for you. We're going to try to get you open.
We want you to score.
You have been 0 for your career at KU. Pollard also hasn't scored. There's Garrett. Hey, wow! Christian Garrett, his first points as a Jayhawk.
Look at the reaction of his teammates. Man, that's terrific. Now, that is a priceless shot right there. And a pretty nice stutter step, not to mention.
Well, don't get carried away. And a rebound. Oh, he almost had the assist. He's done scoring.
He was looking to add to his career high.
Yeah.
That's a nice bucket. I'm happy for the young man.
I am too. I mean, all the work, all the hours.
Well, you want to know what he means to the program. Look at the bench's reaction. You know, nice crossover, and you want to know his role and his value. Look at those young men reacting. That's just terrific. Just terrific. Checking into the game for Texas Tech, Luke Adams.
Luke's a great story as well. We wrote a blog about that a couple of years ago, and Big 12 website. Luke Adams has cochlear implants, born deaf, and kid who has just really persevered through life, let alone basketball. Manning. His first points of the year. Cue the bench. May stepped out of bounds. This will be the 15th trip for the Red Raiders to Allen Fieldhouse, and they're 0 for 15.
Well, you got to figure this shot goes to Tyler Self.
Or Pollard. Oh, would have been his first points in a Jayhawk uniform. Manning with a steal. Garrett.
Good hustle on the rebound by Pollard. I just love the Kansas bench right now. You know, just the camaraderie, and look at that. You talk about team chemistry, and look at those guys. They couldn't be any happier than watching what's going on the court right now. Look at him saying, shoot, Tyler, it's your shot, buddy. That is a great shot.
Impressive performance by KU from start to finish in this one.
I was just thinking the same thing. You know, they're going to be better days for Texas Tech. Tubby Smith, you bring in 7 new guys, 5 freshmen, you're going to take some beatings like this, but he's laying a foundation. And boy, this was a tough one to take on the chin, but what a dominant performance by the Kansas Jayhawks.
So the Red Raiders go to 0-3 in the conference. The Jayhawks start 2-0 for the 9th straight season. The Jayhawks in defense of the Big 12 title. Once again, our final score, Kansas 86, Texas Tech 54. Now let's send you to the studio with Matt Schick and Dino Gaudio. Good afternoon from Allen Fieldhouse in Lawrence, Kansas.
All right, thank you, guys. And up next for Kansas, a date with Oklahoma State. First up for the Cowboys, LeBron Nash, second in the Big 12 in scoring, second to his teammate. To his left, also stretching, Phil Forte, 7 minutes away. Gallagher-Iba Arena, Cowboys and Horns coming up quick. Let's put a bow on this Kansas whitewashing of Texas Tech. How did the Jayhawks look? What do you learn from a game like this?
I think they're getting better. I think they're trending upward. Now, we got to remember who they play. Texas Tech comes in, Tubby Smith, with a team that starts 3 freshmen. And it's tough to win games when you start 3 freshmen at home, let alone take them in the Fog Out and try to win in Lawrence, Kansas. That's a tough chore, Matt.
Kansas buries 11 threes, and they've now beaten Texas Tech 11 straight times, and the average margin of victory in those 11 straight wins was 23 points. Today, they win by 32. John Calipari did not have a 32-point win today. #1 Kentucky taking on Texas A&M, again coming off that narrow overtime win at home against Ole Miss. Texas A&M made them earn it today. Second half, Aaron Harrison, not a great day for the Harrisons, although they do get into the highlight.
Not at all. This is one of the few buckets. 6 for 30 combined for the Harrisons today at Texas A&M.
End of the half, Aaron Harrison cannot connect. We go to overtime. In fact, let's go to double overtime. Tied at 63. Tyler Ulis, you bet.
Matt, that is the shot of the game for Kentucky Ulis. And how about Dakari Johnson comes in, 4 straight free throws in the second overtime, which were huge for Kentucky.
Trey Lyles hit a couple of big free throws as well to get it to that second overtime, so Kentucky survives again. A total of 3 overtimes in their first 2 SEC games. They're 2-0, yet it was their second worst shooting performance under head coach John Calipari, second only to a game last year at South Carolina where they lost. They're 2-2 in their 4 worst shooting games for Kentucky.
When you guard like they guard, without a doubt, this is the best defensive team in America. And they showed me a lot when Willie Cauley-Stein fouls out, Karl Anthony Towns fouls out, and Aaron Harrison fouls out, and they still win the game. They do it with defense. I thought to beat Kentucky, you would have to make a high number of threes. Texas A&M only had 2 this afternoon, so Kentucky their defense is what got them over the hump.
People would look at these first 2 SEC contests where they're forced to overtime in both, although they do win, and say there's no way they're running the table now. You say?
I'm saying they still run the table.
Really?
I think these 2 games, not many teams could learn by winning. Somehow, if they can learn by winning, I think Cal goes into practice this week and treats these guys like they lost 2 games. I mean, he's going to get after these guys, act like they lost, handle that same practice with that same atmosphere. So, but here's the thing with Kentucky. Zones really bothered them. Ole Miss kept them off balance. Texas A&M kept them off balance today.
Kentucky, something about conference play. They coasted through the non-con. They beat teams like North Carolina, teams like Louisville, who played today in Chapel Hill.